It's the internet. You're busy. Let's do this for November 9th, 2022. For the next hour or so, let me help you sort through the world of gaming on Game Mess Mornings Live with me, Jeff Grubb. Today, I have a lot of problems with you people, and here's a table of contents and a glossary that helps explain why you stink. But first, please join me in welcoming today's co-host to Game Mess Mornings. It's Lucy James from Giant Bomb. Lucy, it's good to see you. How are you doing?
I'm just recovering because I started reading the McGordon statement and I'm maybe a quarter of the way through and I'm already stressed.
Yes.
I'm stressed just reading it. This would be like a really good episode of, what was that Aaron Sorkin show? Newsroom?
Yes, Newsroom, yes.
Yeah, it feels like a Newsroom or a West Wing episode, or like the Battlestar Galactica 33, where everything is happening and it's all going to shit.
We're gonna get to that. It's, I barely had time to read it. I jumped down to the too long didn't read, and it was my thing was just scrolling.
Very long, yeah.
Yes, very long. But that is about Mick Gordon responding to Marty Stratton about the Doom OST and the Doom Eternal OST, which I don't think ever came out, and it's a mess. But, I mean, listen, we'll get into the details here in a little bit. But yeah, I mean, how are you doing otherwise, Lucy? You got we're halfway through the week. You feeling it? You doing pretty good here?
Hey, we've got a short week here.
We do.
It's Veterans Day on Friday. I finished Ragnarok, and I've moved on to some other stuff. And I'm doing a lot of gaming. Desperately trying to get everyone to watch Bad Sisters,
right?
A show that is so stressful I can only watch half an episode at a time. But genuinely, please watch it. But I'm feeling good. I'm ready for a long weekend. How about you?
I did what I've been doing for the last several weeks on Wednesday morning. I got my kids ready for school. Well, the one kid only has school on Wednesday. Got her ready. I drove her today because I was like, all right, my wife, I could tell, was very tired. I got back and immediately turned on Andor, and I am fucking hyped. God, that was good. It was so good.
Yeah.
I'm screaming at the projector screen over there, just like losing my mind, trying not to wake up the people who are still sleeping, and boy, it was good. So yeah, I'm in a good mood because that's a good show, and it's been good for 10 episodes straight. No spoilers. No spoilers.
Yeah,
except
no spoilers.
One way out, baby. One way out.
I want to know, the next thing I got to watch is I have to finish Bad Sisters, and then I really want to watch Chainsaw Man, if I'm honest.
I want to see it too. How do you feel about like the gruesome anime violence?
I love it.
Yeah,
I'm reading Berserk at the moment, so I'm desensitized to everything.
Yes, that would do it. Chainsaw Man looks very cool. I want to at least just watch it for the intro, setting the vibes, and then see how it goes into the show. I'm definitely curious about it. I need an anime for my workout show. I watched Naruto up to episode 50, and now I'm too sad about Rock Lee to continue. So I've got to find another show for now.
Octo just said it, but I was about to say Spy Family is one of the best things I've watched this year. It is great. Actually, maybe one. How old are your kids? Maybe one they might like.
Okay, yeah, cool. Yeah, they definitely like peek in and like want to see what I'm watching. So yeah, maybe I can do that. That'd be fun.
Some of it's a little bit violent, maybe, but check it before you maybe. But it's great.
Grubb household. There's violent stuff on the TV. It happens. All right, before we get into the mess, let's explain ourselves. Each weekday, I, Jeff Grubb, will help piece your gaming life back together. That includes breaking news and maybe even some of our own original reporting. For all these topics, I'll get the input of a bona fide expert who will make me look smart. If you are watching live on Twitch, welcome. Hello. You can always listen to the show later on podcast feeds by searching for Game Mess Mornings or find the RSS on giantbomb.com. Hello to all our friends on Spotify and everywhere else and all podcast feeds everywhere. You can also catch the show later with chapters and timestamps on YouTube. Hello, YouTube. Okay, we have a lot to get into, so let's start the morning mess with Take-Two CEO says launching new games into a subscription service like Game Pass makes no sense. This comes from Eddie McCoo at GameSpot, who writes, Take-Two CEO Strauss Zelnick has again offered his perspective on subscription services in the gaming business, saying they don't make sense for frontline new releases to launch into on day one. Speaking during Take-Two's latest earnings call, Zelnick said his company has been very cooperative with both Microsoft and Sony on their subscription services when it makes sense for us. And that's a quote. But his views regarding subscription services for games as a whole have not changed. Zelnick maintains that there are major differences between the linear entertainment, like TV and film businesses, and interactive entertainment, video game businesses. And while a subscription service may make sense for linear entertainment, Zelnick does not see the same viability for games. Basically, his argument is that people watch a lot more TV and film than they play games during a month. I suppose that's on average and almost certainly true. Although I think if you look at, the people who prefer games, I bet the number skews. So, it's probably not exactly 1-to-1, but that's his general argument. And he's like, he basically says, I register some skepticism, which I still hold. And as for launching new games into subscription services like Microsoft does with first-party games for Game Pass, Zelnick said this does not make sense for Take-Two. And I think we've continued to see that, right, Lucy, where it's not even just Take-Two. You could tell in the background, Microsoft's having a lot of conversations with a lot of these big publishers. And so far, very few have been willing to bite on whatever Microsoft is offering for a day one release into Game Pass for anything that isn't, for anything that might be more of a sure thing. If it's a little bit like, maybe this game won't do well, like Outriders, like that one got in there. But that you could tell, that's a different one where it's like, we're not sure if the pre-orders are going to be there. For everything else, for the kinds of games that Take-Two's putting out, they are going to want to release them as products first and then put them in subscriptions. And that's what Zelnick continues to say, and he has not changed his tune at all. And it doesn't seem like Strauss, Zelnick, or others in his position are going to change their tune anytime soon, right?
No, I mean, for Strauss, I think the thing that he's deliberately not talking about is anything from Rockstar here.
Oh, yeah.
Anything, I guess Borderlands isn't necessarily one of theirs anymore, but, they've seen such success with those big titles. So it's like, why would they put it onto a service like Game Pass where you're going to have some kind of, I assume, some kind of rev share? Maybe you're not getting those pre-orders. Like, it doesn't seem like it would work for them. But then again, we have seen the success with games like Plague Tale. Plague Tale Requiem just came out day one Game Pass, and there's a lot of games of that kind of ilk where it's AA, maybe even straddling over AAA, but things that need a little bit more help getting in front of a bigger audience. And so I can see where he's coming from. Until he said the TV is linear is very different, I was like, my man, you are literally like on the board at CBS. Don't you Paramount Plus or whatever? So. Or at least he was for a bit.
Music is very different than TV and film. And, I listen to a lot less music per month than I do consume TV. And then I consume a lot less TV than I do play video games in a month. And I subscribe to all three. I have subscriptions for all three things, multiple subscriptions for some of those things. And maybe that's so I watch, or I have multiple subscriptions for TV and film. And maybe that's the argument he's making, because I don't have multiple for music, and I don't think I have multiple for games at the moment, although I have in the past. Regardless, though, it's he's not won over, and that's I think it's going to continue being the real sticking point for Microsoft. And Microsoft has likely known this for a very long time. They've been in those conversations. They know the tenor of the skepticism that Zelnick is putting forth here, and that's one of the reasons they've made so many acquisitions. They are at a point, once this Activision merger acquisition actually goes through, to be able to sustain Game Pass and their own platform almost entirely on their own, and get a couple of third-party ones here and there, the day one third-party ones here and there. And then, when stuff does come from the catalog side, things that have been out for a little bit from Take-Two, that helps fill out the roster and it gives a little bit more value, but it's not going to be the main thing for Game Pass. And I think everyone involved knows that, and it's not going to change, right?
Yeah, I think, I mean, it is interesting to see someone as high profile as Zelnick explicitly kind of call out stuff like Game Pass and PS Plus, because obviously Sony and Microsoft are pushing them so hard. But I mean, it does make sense.
Yeah, and Zelnick's in a weird position. He's always been kind of poking and prodding a little bit at the Game Pass. I remember they were on Phil Spencer and Zelnick were on CNBC at the same time before, and Zelnick's like, "What are you guys at? Like 35 million now?" And Game Pass was not quite there yet. They were just getting to 25 million. It was like, yeah, you guys aren't even at numbers that we thought you would be at. This joke is kind of like the implication a little bit. It's like, man, these guys. Do these guys hate each other? And I'm like, I don't know. I think Zelnick just is feeling it because, he's got a Rockstar that has settled into Grand Theft Auto Online, and Grand Theft Auto 5 right now is just beginning to slow down. This is what happened earlier this week when they reported their numbers. It's done 4 or 5 million copies per quarter for a very long time. This last one, it's done 1 million. And then on top of that, looking a bit silly paying $12 billion for Zynga. Which, I mean, honestly, when they did that day one, I thought they looked pretty silly. That's a lot of money for fucking Zynga. But that their mobile business explicitly has slowed down significantly, and they were like, the future of it, like our prospects for the outlook for our mobile revenue going forward is pretty grim. And it's like, why'd you buy it? Why'd you spend all that money on Zynga? That was just a poor decision.
Billy.
Yes. I mean, it was the biggest video game acquisition ever until the Activision thing got announced. Like, I mean, it's so yeah, they have to make that work and make that make sense. And Zynga has been trying to make itself make sense for like since the Facebook days, like the Facebook games days, which has been over for a very long time. Yeah,
I couldn't even tell you what is Zynga making these days.
It's probably like social casino games.
Farmville.
I'm sure it's still Farmville, but
Farmville 3.
Yeah.
Farm animals.
Yeah, it's not. I don't think it's not exactly lighting the world on fire. I think we did on the Bombcaster yesterday. We were like read that list of games. It's like, oh, here are the ones that are just top
money
of the world.
Something casino pig guy.
Yeah,
pig guy.
Yeah, but I don't think that's not Zynga. I don't think there was a single Zynga game on there actually. And if there was, it's not one I recognize. But I don't think there was. It's like, man.
Wizard of Oz Magic Match. Willy Wonka slots.
Yep.
Wizard of Oz
games.
slots. Toy Blast with something that looks a lot like a Minion. Tiny Royale.
Mm-hmm.
Star Wars Hunters.
Yeah, Star Wars Hunters is like their next big one. That's coming to the Switch at the same time. That got delayed, coming out next year. So I mean,
they're all slots here. Yeah, yep. Game of Thrones. You've got Harry Potter.
And I mean, it feels
Chess.
I don't know. It feels like social casino games doesn't have a lot of room for creativity and growth. It feels like the ones that have succeeded are going to keep winning. And so. He's got his own fish to fry. He's got his own concerns, and it's the revenue being a concern. It's the kind of thing where, well, we can't leave anything on the table. So if we put a game out, we're gonna have to put it out as a product and just we're gonna have to force that to work. And honestly, Game Pass is kind of a little bit of a threat to that, where it can be like lower the perceived value of the games that they're putting out, and I think that's his concern more than anything else.
Yeah, I think so too.
Let's move on here to FIFA's first post-EA games will be blockchain titles. This goes from Chris Scullion at VGC. Lucy, I remember when FIFA was like responding to EA saying, hey, we're doing EA Sports Football Club next year. And then FIFA was like, well, listen, the only real the authentic thing for real fans is going to have the FIFA name on it. And I'm like, whoa, you guys are wilding out over here. And now they're back with their games that are going to be for the real, authentic fans. FIFA has announced that the first games to use its branding following the end of its longtime partnership with EA will be Web 3.0 blockchain titles. 4 games will be released to coincide with FIFA World Cup Qatar 2022. Am I saying that country right? Chat, please yell at me.
I don't know if it's Qatar or if it's Qatar.
Qatar, yeah. Either way. Please yell at me, chat. I want to get that one right. All of which are Web 3.0 titles and make use of blockchain tech in some way. How many of these okay. According to a press release by FIFA, gaming and esports are some of the fastest growing opportunities for FIFA as it continues to expand its digital spaces. It adds that the new gaming integrations, all of which are designed with Web 3.0 and the future of digital engagement in mind, are playable around the tournament and each have a unique twist on the globe's biggest football tournament. The first game is AI League FIFA World Cup Qatar 2022 edition, developed by Altered State Machine, which is a 4-on-4 casual football game played between AI-controlled characters with players inputting with inputs at fun and tactical moments.
Fun moments.
Yes, at fun and tactical moments. Yes.
Good Lord.
People saying Cutter. Yeah, that sounds right too. Who knows? According to a separate release by Altered State Machine, the game will launch with a 10-week prediction component with digital and physical prizes available to those who correctly predict real-life matches.
So it's betting. So it's gambling.
It sounds like gambling. Yeah.
So it's fucking Web3 blockchain gambling shit.
Yes.
Cool.
Right.
Okay. Couldn't expect anything less from FIFA.
Exactly. Like they're like, hey, what is the shittiest thing we could do? Okay, can we do that 4 times? Yeah, we can do it 4 times. Let's see. The second is FIFA World Cup Qatar 2022 in the Upland Metaverse, which is a collaboration with Upland Me. Upland is a blockchain-based metaverse where players buy and sell virtual properties. So... hey, let's combine. It's 2 great flavors that go great together: digital landlords and FIFA. Okay.
What are you talking about? What are you fucking buying? You buying the Stadium of Light? Like, what are you buying?
I don't know. The third FIFA World Cup Qatar 2022 on Figdal.
What the fuck is
PHYGTL.
Figdal?
What is Figdal? It is a collaboration with fan engagement mobile application Figdal. The game's description claims that fans can augment a Golden Globe football from the palm of their hands into the real-life environment, own a limited fragment of it to attach and eternalize their handpicked FIFA World Cup pictures and video moments. It's just like AR bullshit. This is, in FIFA's words, a digital representation of eternal fandom. Finally, the fourth game announced is Matchday Challenge FIFA World Cup Qatar 2022 edition. According to the press release, Matchday is a highly engaging, casual social prediction game based on football cards. Oh boy.
I'm embarrassed for football.
Yes. This is really, yes. And their eternal fandom, absolutely. I don't know. I bet most of these things just come and go, and in 5 years you won't even be able to find these apps on anything. All this stuff will have disappeared from the internet. And it will feel like a fever dream, which if honestly feels that way right now. A FIFA dream, yes. God damn it. I don't know. I guess, what can we expect from FIFA? And it's like the sign. Our expectations for you were low, but holy fuck, like here we are. It's exactly where we're at.
You raised my hopes and dashed them most expertly, sir.
I can't wait to see the eternal fandom reaction to all those. All right, let's move on to Nintendo has no plans to increase Switch prices for now. This comes from Zach Zweisen at Kotaku. In its latest earnings briefing, Nintendo continues to say it has no plans to raise prices on its popular Switch console, though it also doesn't rule out the possibility that it might have to increase prices in the future. This is obviously inflation was a big concern during the meeting. Currently, the entire globe is facing a massive wave of economic inflation, leading to some companies like Sony and Meta raising prices on previously released hardware like PlayStation 5 and MetaQuest 2. Even Xbox boss Phil Spencer suggested that following the holidays, Microsoft may have to raise prices on consoles or Game Pass. However, Nintendo is not following suit, though it continues to, quote, monitor the situation. As reported by Bloomberg's Takashi Mochizuki, yesterday during Nintendo's latest earnings briefing, the company responded to a question about possible price increases and said, quote, it won't take such actions at this moment, but then added that it will continue monitoring the situation and will carefully consider if it does need to change course and increase Switch prices. That's just not the move, right, Lucy? We're so close to something new happening with a follow-up Switch. If for some reason they are not making the profits they want on this hardware, it just would be a boneheaded thing to raise the price, especially as sales have started to slow down. You just eat that and you put the efforts into making sure you market the next one, so maybe the next Switch is a little bit more expensive, and that has like a baked-in price increase, right?
Yeah, I mean, my question for you is going to be, so we talked about this last week, that Xbox makes a loss on every console sold. Does Nintendo on the Switch?
No, they've really prioritized making money on their hardware for many generations now. The Switch is no exception. It's been profitable probably from very, very early on in its life.
And if that's the case, I really hope they don't raise prices on it, especially like, as you said, everything is slowing down. They're still making profit on every one sold. And I mean, early next year as well, we're meant to get Tears of the Kingdom, and it's like, I don't know. I kind of hope that the business heads don't prevail when it comes to the goodwill side, but I've been in this biz long enough to know that that's not going to be the case.
Yeah,
also we're on the cusp of a complete unknown. Like, some people in chat are talking about the stuff that's happening at Meta today, like 11,000 jobs gone.
Yes,
we don't know what awful, and so we don't know what's happening. Like
11,000.
Who knows?
Astronomical number. Jesus. It's like I saw the headline and I just think about it. It's like, man, that's multiple companies. It's a small town of people laid off now looking for work. So it's the unknown. It's these companies. Honestly, it goes back to that Sony blog post about raising the price, where it's like, listen, the times are tough. Everyone's paying more for everything, so pay us more for this. And it's like, wait, what? Mm-hmm. What the fuck are you talking about? Nintendo, though, has already basically gotten away with a price increase with the OLED. That OLED screen does not cost $50 more. That system does cost $50 more to purchase. And that slightly raises the average sales price of their hardware, which is what they're going for. So they've gotten away with them. They've never been able to do that before, where they put out a revised system that actually costs more than the launch price of the system originally. And they did that this time. So they've gotten away with one. And I think that they are happy to take that money and go into the next Switch. And then the next Switch probably will be a little bit more expensive than what they were thinking it would have been a couple years ago. And that's where our price increase will come from. And no one will be able to argue it's a price increase because it'll just be the price. But it definitely will have all of these inflationary concerns built into it. And we will just be paying more for gaming going forward. And that's not surprising even a little bit. Switch is most popular with 22-year-olds, Nintendo says. There's maybe some confusion here, but we'll get to that in a second. There we go. Nintendo has released a breakdown from its financial results briefing hosted by Shuntaro Furukawa himself, which is the company's president. One of the stats is a pretty interesting look at age distribution for Switch players. As you can see in the image below, there's a pretty wide range of Switch users, all the way from 1 year old right up to 60 and over. What's particularly interesting, however, is that there's a significant spike of 22-year-olds before it drops off again from 23 and over. People are probably just putting the year 2000 as their birth year, right? That's probably what that is.
100%. That would actually make all the sense in the world. Yeah. Just like,
it's the big round. It's the big round juicy number right there. It's like, they're just
I definitely know that's over 21.
Exactly, so, right. I know it's 2022. I know it's over 21, and nothing's going to be holding me back as long as I say I'm over 21. So, exactly. I've scrolled back. Oh, my God. My birth year is so much further back. This actually is depressing to me. I'm fucking 2000.
If I have to scroll more than like twice, I'm not doing it.
Yeah, and then like kids are like, I want to be able to get M-rated games. Who knows if that actually blocks you or whatever, but just, I'm 2000. Fuck you. So that outlier aside, it is funny to see the dip from like, okay, they're, from kids, more and more kids. And then I become a shitty teenager who's an edgelord. Like, I don't play Nintendo anymore because I'm 15 years old.
I'm doing other things. Fuck you.
Yes, exactly. And then it's like
GTA.
And then you get out of high school and you go in the real world and you're like, man, I wish I was a fucking kid again. And
oh my God. Yeah. I don't want responsibility. I want to go back to my happy time of playing Mario.
Yeah, exactly.
And then, wait. And then you get a job, lower. And then 30 to 35, first kids. Spike again.
Also, it's probably right when you have like real disposable income if you don't have kids. So there's like two things happen, like two tiers there. Yeah.
Low down. And then something kind of a sharp drop off between 40 and 45.
Yeah.
Maybe a new car, some kind of crisis going off. Right. My dad did. Going off Nick, he bought the new car around then.
Midlife crisis, so there it is.
Midlife crisis. So
I'm actually going to buy more video games when I hit there. So
there you
look out, everybody.
There you go.
Look out. It's I don't know. It's fun to see this. Who knows how accurate any of this data is based on this one right there. But yes, I love it too. Animal Crossing New Horizons is now Japan's best-selling game of all time. This comes from Andy Robinson at BBC. Animal Crossing New Horizons is reportedly now the best-selling video game of all time in Japan. That's according to Game Data Library, a website which collates Japanese sales data. According to the site, New Horizons has now sold 10.45 million copies in Japan, surpassing the longtime record held by the original Pokemon Game Boy titles.
Wait. We need a reset? What is happening here?
Did I go? Oh my God. Okay, my bad. I might have gone back to the, my bad. Let's do this one. I probably did the intro again.
Oh no.
My bad. Sorry, everybody. There we go. I
saw someone say nothing bad can happen. So I thought windbag.
Yeah, well, because the whole joke there is like he's like doing stuff and people are like coming to chat. It's like, is this a loop? And then it's like,
nothing bad can happen.
Nothing bad can happen on a Friday night.
On a Friday night.
But this is a loop, everybody. Actually, no, this is live, but the chat pre-recorded. That's pre-recorded. Animal Crossing New Horizons is now Japan's best-selling game of all time. Here's the look at the list. Let's go to the news assets right now. That is 2 up vertical there, so now we're safe. There you go. Let's take a look here. Animal Crossing, 10.45 million copies. Pokemon Red, Green, Blue is 10.23 million copies, and that's been the number one best-selling game, suite since 1996. And so games finally surpassing that. Animal Crossing New Horizons was just that big. Although, if you look down here on this this chart, we scroll down. Splatoon 3 already number 17 at 5.01 million. That game just came out in August.
5.01 million perverts.
Yes, and they're gonna keep going. The original Splatoon 2, Splatoon 2, 5.1 million or 5.11 million. That's that's gonna probably be surpassed. It probably already is, but because this data is from September 30th, I think at the latest. So yeah,
I just love that it's in a spreadsheet.
Yeah,
makes it look even more official.
Yes, Game Data Library is a very good account on Twitter to follow if you're interested in this stuff at all. They keep all this stuff nice and collated. You can see number 4, Super Mario Brothers, is 6.81 million. So it's like this whole chart's going to get rearranged here pretty soon, I think, by Splatoon 3, because this game continues to sell hundreds of thousands of copies every week in Japan. So yeah, I'm trying to see what's the highest. Look, the highest non-Nintendo platform game, Monster Hunter Freedom 3 for the PSP, 5.3 million copies. Ow. That's big. And then everything else, Nintendo. All right, let's get back here. This time we should not have the intro play. 343 thanks fans for patience as Halo Infinite finally adds long-awaited features. This comes from Tom Ivan at VGC. 343 Industries has thanked Halo Infinite fans for their patience during a year in which the studio struggled to deliver several highly anticipated features for the game on time. In a blog post, 343 community writer Alex Wakeford said the company hopes today's launch of the game's major winter update will mark the start of a brighter period for Halo Infinite and the studio alike. Among other features, today's full update finally introduces campaign co-op, the Forge open beta, and mission replay, all of which were previously delayed on several occasions. This is like maybe a new make or break moment for Halo Infinite, or has that already passed? Because this is out, and I've heard a few people talking about it. But this is not like, oh man, the new update for Halo Infinite is here. Everyone's heading back to it. I haven't sensed that yet. I don't know. What do you think?
Oh, so someone just linked in chat. Important note, you'll be kicked from Forge for inactivity. Please be aware of this. I just lost my entire map.
No, that's a nightmare.
It's going well. Yeah. You know what? We are, it's the 9th today? We are 6 days away from them. The 1 year anniversary of them dropping Halo Infinite. And I remember that time. I remember sitting at this desk, downloading it on my Xbox, getting super stoked for it, and playing and having a great time. And then I don't know, man.
It's a good game.
Sucks.
It's a good game.
It's a great game.
That's a real bummer to think about.
Fun.
Yes, it's just a real bummer to be an ongoing fan of it, because it's like, oh man, it's a fun game. All it needs is all the things it hasn't been getting, and they have not shown signs that it will be getting it. And so, okay, well, this update's the first time where it's like, okay, maybe, but this is all stuff that they've also promised previously. It's not like where we've moved on to surprise new content drops. This is just catching up to previous promises, and that doesn't feel great either. But I don't know, campaign co-op for this game, I'm excited about that still. I still want to go and do that. It seems like a good time. I
stopped playing the campaign because I wanted to play it in co-op, right?
Yeah, it seems like an ideal way to experience that. So
yeah. But do you think that this is like too little, too late? Like, what would be is campaign co-op going to get you to go back to Halo?
I like the idea of that more than it's probably actually going to happen in reality.
Yeah.
And I think
I'm now in a place where Overwatch 2 is out, so you know.
Right. Yes. Obviously, as always, there's more options than ever. I think that it is too little, too late for now. I think it's maybe it's not going to be. This is not the one big content drop that is just going to win everyone over all in one go. This is going to have to be the start of a ongoing change and an ongoing improvement in the cadence of releases for this game. That if that builds up over the next couple of months, then I think it'll be enough. But right now, if this is it, it's too little, too late. And it's just too many people feeling really bad about this game, and to the point where every time it would come up for the first 8-9 months, I'd be like, listen guys, I like playing this game, and that's all that matters. And then it clicks over. It's like, oh, and now I'm thinking about how it's just the same stuff over and over, and now it's a bummer for me to think about. So it's really hard to dig out of that hole, and it's still in that hole right now. But you know how these things go. People start saying, well, man, we got in there the other night. We were playing campaign co-op, and look at all this fun stuff we were doing.
Yeah.
And then we went over to Forge and saw this incredible stuff that people made, and it's blowing our mind. We had the best night of game, and like that stuff spreads, and it just takes time. But we haven't seen that bear out yet. I don't know. I mean, like you said, you have Overwatch 2. So are you going to go back and give this another chance anytime soon?
I don't know. I mean, Xbox and 343 are acutely aware of it. I mean, new leadership over at 343, pimping my own podcast that I do outside of work, but like we had Matt Booty on Friends Per Second last week, and we asked him, hey, what's up with Halo? And they are definitely like pushing to make meaningful change over there. But I mean, it's like folks in Colonel Sanders with his herbs and spices said, I wish them success, but I don't have any faith because the last 2 times they promised to turn things around, they didn't. And game development is incredibly difficult, but I don't understand how you can launch something like Halo Infinite and not have a plan beyond launch. Like, it's a live service game like that lives or dies, and they know how to run a live service game like that. Like, the Master Chief Collection is still great, and it's like, but then again, similar
and they had
thing.
The growing pains with that game, right?
They had growing pains.
So you thought they would have learned the lessons.
But that's the thing. How can you not learn lessons from that? Like, how can this keep happening? And like I said, game development is difficult. Not professing to know the answers to everything, but it is just frustrating, as a consumer and as a player and as a fan, watching the same shit happen over and over again and expecting,
Yes.
change.
Yep, and it's just, I mean, they have made changes to the leadership there, and I do know for certain that a big part of that was not just people moving on, it was people getting a bit of the boot to get out of the way so they can make changes. But still, the people they promoted were, people from within, which might make sense, might not. Honestly, I have no idea, but there's reason to be skeptical of that. Honestly, haven't these people been here the whole time? Why should I expect things to be different? I can see that line of reasoning. And basically, that means I understand people who are still skeptical and are not ready to believe again. They have a long way to go before they can make people believe again. And of course, as the Silent in chat points out, Sonic Frontiers is out now, so why would anyone go play any other video game?
Oh, God.
Halo Infinite's getting shorter seasons in 2023, though. To speak to this, this is from CJ Wheeler at Rock Paper Shotgun. Multiplayer sci-fi shooter sequel Halo Infinite's big winter update has come, but they are also touting more frequent updates to the first-person shooter game that's been relatively Spartan, and then they capitalized Spartan there, by the way, in terms of content so far. Another game update is planned for later in 2022, which means Halo Infinite players can almost certainly expect something in December. Then the Halo Infinite's third season, Echoes Within, is coming in March 2023 and will run till June. And meanwhile, we know that prolific Texas-based support studio Certain Affinity is they announced in September that they are working on something big and new for the franchise, and we have no idea when to expect that. But they talked about it in September, so you can imagine we probably won't get to next September without hearing about it again. Like a whole year seems about right, but who knows?
Yeah.
E3
Certain
is between
Affinity.
now and then.
Certain Affinity are they're the ex-Halo devs, and then they kind of got brought on to make maps and like stuff,
Very
a bunch
correct.
of stuff there,
Yes.
right?
And they've worked on Call of Duty in that capacity. Yeah. They've worked on a lot of stuff in that capacity. They are also making a Monster Hunter game with Xbox. Like they're going to be their new their first like solo project that they're going to create all themselves. But in the meantime, they're also making this what is almost certainly a battle royale for Halo. And it's also reportedly in the Unreal Engine, which is where it seems like a lot of those Unreal rumors were coming from.
I mean, it makes a lot of sense. Like, at least at Xbox, you've got the Coalition kind of heading up stuff around Unreal. I didn't realize that Xbox have they obviously do a big knowledge share, and so it makes all the sense in the world to move a bunch of their games onto one engine instead of running the old, the Slip Space engine that Halo seems to be the only game that runs in. Like,
correct.
Why would you not? I'm not saying port the whole game over, but it's a very puzzling thing where it's like,
you're just launching Forge, right? You're right. Like the tech debt, and at this point, it's like, man, hindsight. there, but they just did all that
Hindsight's
work
a hell of a
Forge.
hindsight.
Yeah.
Why didn't you just make this in Unreal?
Yeah.
Or
But I mean, I think it seems like Halo in terms of, getting, I don't know, they're promising more frequent updates. Maybe they figured it out and they'll be able to do stuff in Slipspace for Halo Infinite. And then new stuff from other studios like Certain Affinity can be an Unreal Engine, and that'll be fine. At least, that continues to be the rumor, and it seems like it's accurate. And then someone asked, Monster Hunter, like Capital Monster Hunter, or Monster Hunter the genre? It's a Monster Hunter the genre. Like, it's not like an official Monster Hunter game. Speaking of Monster Hunter, Capcom is partnering with Tencent's Timi, that's Timi, for a new Monster Hunter game. This comes from Tom Ivan at VGC. Capcom is partnering with Tencent's Timi Studio to create a new Monster Hunter game for mobile devices. The pair said on Tuesday the in-development game will reproduce the hunting actions that define the Monster Hunter series while offering players a new game experience unique to mobile platforms. This seems like a no-brainer, right?
yeah, super no-brainer. I'm kind of amazed it's taken this long already, but
I think I'm like right there. There has to be one.
As long as it's
before
not gacha shit, though. That's
right.
the thing. As long as it's not gacha shit. But I could see myself just, waiting for the boss, just trying to kill a monster. That'd be
right.
sick.
And I don't know, like you could think about, prepping, or even like, you're prepping all day when you get a couple of minutes here and there, like, okay, I'm going to do just a couple of tasks to get my potions ready and all that stuff, my healing stuff ready. And
but I bet you, like, you'd have to set timers. You know how you have to walk eggs in Pokemon Go? You'd have to do something similar to brew potions, huh?
Yeah, and maybe maybe it could have the walking stuff even though, you're walking around, the stuff gets done faster. They probably won't have that, but still, it's they'll definitely have timers though, I bet.
Yeah, 100%.
Monster Hunter, obviously a massive success for Capcom. It's their second best-selling franchise with 88 million units shipped as of September 2022, trailing only Resident Evil, which is 131 million, by the way, and comfortably ahead of third place Street Fighter at 49 million. Let's see here, just the last couple of stories. This one is entitled "To Fans of Disco Elysium Concerning the Situation at Zaum." This is a Medium blog post from Alexander Rostov and Robert Kurvitz, who were I'll let them explain. This is me reading from the blog post now. We are Robert Kurvitz and Alexander Rostov, the game director and art director of Disco Elysium. Our stake in the game exists in the form of minority shareholdings in an Estonian company called Zaum Studio Umlaut U thing, which owns everything related to the game. The majority of this company's shares were initially held by Magnus Linnamäe, an Estonian businessman and investor who provided the initial capital. In 2021, Linnamäe was bought out by another minority shareholder, an Estonian company, Turtrek OU. Turtrek is a vehicle for two Estonian businessmen, Limnar Kompas and Tonis Havel. As minority shareholders, our rights are limited. As long as Linnamäe remained the majority shareholder, we were confident that the company's financials were in order and that all shareholders were being treated equally. The same cannot be said for Kompas and Havel. As soon as they became majority shareholders, we were quickly excluded from daily operations. Our employment was terminated and our access to the company's information was shut off. Our firing came weeks after we started asking for documents and financial data, which is still being kept from us. We have now learned that Turtrek must have obtained control over Zaum Studio by fraud. We believe the money used by Turtrek to buy the majority stake was taken illegally from Zaum Studio itself, money that belonged to the studio and all shareholders, but was used for the benefit of just one, money that should have gone towards making the sequel. We believe that these actions, which in our view and the view of our lawyers amount to criminal wrongdoing, punishable by up to 3 years of imprisonment, were perpetrated by Ilmar Kompas and Tonis Havel with support from Kaur Kinder, another minority shareholder. This is hardly surprising given that Tonis Havel, who we believe to be the ringleader, has been convicted for defrauding investors on a different matter in 2007. The post goes on to basically say that the pair are considering their legal actions, and they thank their fans for supporting them vocally, which has been happening since all this stuff first started coming out. I don't know. That sounds like, okay, they have a plan of action, and they have some very specific allegations. Who knows how Estonian law works, if they'll be able to make this happen, but they're going to try to make it happen. It's a real shame that these people who are very talented at making video games are stuck dealing with this, right? They should just be making
What
games.
a team for this to happen to.
Yes, it's like the irony here is just off the charts.
Yeah. Oh my god. I mean,
yeah. What do you think?
I can't pretend to know too much about business stuff, so I will kind of refrain from commenting on that. It's just wild to see the trajectory that this game has gone on from being this like indie darling to, you know, 10 out of 10s across the board. It was so close to winning Game of the Year for us. Like, it was between that and Sekiro. And then to see the reception, to see what's happened, and then just everyone to assume that there would be a sequel of the game. But then as soon as like stuff like the Amazon show rights got snapped up, I was like, that's a weird move. It doesn't seem like it's in keeping with the heart of what the game was truly about.
Right.
And then it just, the way that they all went quiet, but then you never had anything really from the dev team. It was all, oh, we're doing a pop-up shop where it's just selling this stuff. That's all I heard about Disco Elysium for like forever. And then for people like Kurvitz and Rostov to go, it's like, games are made by a team, right? But when key people go, that's when it's like, it gets weird because, you know, there were a team of writers, but Kurvitz has been working on, you know, it was his initial writings, I believe, like the tabletop game that he was running, like the initial idea for the world even came from. And so, yes, there's a team of very talented writers still there, but like, you know, it must really suck for him. And so I can absolutely see him going like the mile on this. And Rostov as well. If he's the art director, he would have had he left a very big footprint on that game. And so it's like very strange. It's just, and it's heartbreaking all the way around because I want nothing more than to see more from Disco Elysium, but I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah. Or whatever does come out will be this, you know, this ghost of what we were expecting. I
mean, I think the whole thing's going to implode.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
likely.
even the folks who are still there who are working on the sequel, like, it's a shit slinging match now.
Yes.
Where people like are just, you know, taking them to court and like it's, you know, the power of the Medium post, right? So it's you know, everything's out there.
The screenshot of the Notepad app.
But,
you know, it's up there. Yeah, I mean, you could imagine being inside that studio and be like, oh man, whenever we ask for more help or whenever we say we need this, like, where's the money for that? It's like, oh, these people use that money to acquire the studio that we work at, and yeah.
Wait. There is an update.
All right, let's hear it.
Tam just said he tried to edit the doc, but he couldn't.
Oh, sorry, Tam.
Let me drop it in chat. So they were fired for misconduct, apparently.
Okay, is that okay? That's the claim from. All right. Yeah, interesting.
Toxic workplace environment, verbal abuse, gender discrimination. This is from gamesindustry.biz. Yep.
There.
So that's what I'm saying.
Yep.
Sucks for the people left behind. Yep. The whole thing's imploding.
All right.
The whole thing is imploding.
Yeah, that does, and that sounds like okay. That does sound like the kind of thing where it's like, how do you even keep that going at that point? Let me see if I can find where'd you put this? You put it in the chat that we're in.
Oh, right in top right live chat for us.
Okay. Yes, there we go. So from gamesindustry.biz, let's see here. This comes from Daniel Partis. Studio confirms instances of toxic workplace environment, verbal abuse, gender discrimination from dismissed employees. The report follows news that 3 key members of Zaum, Disco Elysium designer Robert Kurvitz, writer Helen Hindpier, and art director Alexander Rostov had been dismissed from the company last year. So obviously this was the Medium post trying to get out ahead of the story, right? An exclusive statement, Zaum detailed some of the reasons behind the recent dismissals, but did not name any specific individuals. The studio said the dismissed employees had limited to no engagement in their responsibilities and work, created a toxic work environment, demonstrated misconduct towards other employees, including verbal abuse and gender discrimination, attempted to illegally sell Zaum's intellectual property. More details are specified by the studio in a statement.
Full statements below. Yeah.
Right. They treated their coworkers very badly, Compass told Express. Despite talking to them repeatedly, things did not improve. Therefore, the company was forced to fire them. Robert Kurvitz is said to have been known for belittling women and coworkers in the past, but this was previously unknown to the company. It would be very short-sighted of a growing international company to tolerate such behavior. Honestly, this is just the kind of thing where, okay, yeah, you're right. It's shit slinging. It is going to be two sides claiming one thing and the other's claiming the other. And of course, they're going to try to set this up to say, well, of course, Compass would say that. He's the one that's the ringleader of this organization. So, it's saying that their lawyers, and this is going back to the people who were dismissed, are considering legal action. Well, I mean, let's see them go through with that. If this is if what they say is true, they will go through with it. And if what the company's saying is true, then maybe these people who are dismissed won't actually have the stomach for airing all their dirty laundry and the proof and the evidence that might come from that. So we'll see what happens. And in the meantime, people are still working on Disco Elysium 2, I guess.
And I hope the people who were affected by this are kind of okay. Like this, I mean, I'm just kind of, obviously we're getting the thing live, and so I haven't really had time to read it, but like suffering from a toxic environment, treated their coworkers badly. There was a previously unknown. I did read a thing where it was like they were reluctant to speak out because they respected Kurvitz and felt like they owed him.
One source that spoke to GameIndustry.biz, who asked to remain anonymous, described the situation as not black and white, and said that long-term staff were reluctant to speak out about Kurvitz's behavior because they respected him and felt like they owed him for their positions. Our source claims staff hired later on did not have a clear picture of the situation and felt uncomfortable speaking out on behalf of others, which is just sounds like such a common thing. Absolutely. Yeah. So it's very easy to see coming into a place and knowing things that happen and being like, well, it's not my place. So but it sounds like that stuff's beginning to crack out and get out there. So we'll see. All right, let's go to this last story. Mick Gordon's large medium post gives new meaning to doom scrolling. Very good.
Hey.
Okay, so on the TV, go grab it behind the TV. All right, let's this was kind of breaking this morning. It was a very long post, so I'm like, man, I don't know if I have the capacity to do everything else and get this ready as well. But and again, this is what I was referencing earlier. It has a table of contents. It is very, very long. This is Mick Gordon, the composer of the Doom Eternal OST, responding to Marty Stratton, who basically kind of threw him under the bus for why the OST wasn't going to come out. All right, so here's his too long didn't read summary of the facts. Doom Eternal. I haven't been paid for over half of Doom Eternal's music. The game includes more than double the music I was contracted to produce, rejects, mock-ups, demos, many of which were never meant for public release. I created this music as part of the development process and shared it with id Software in good faith. But id Software used the music in the game, marketing, and soundtrack, and still refuses to pay me for it. The Doom Eternal OST was a mess. It was announced with my name attached and made available for pre-order before I was contracted to produce it. Despite my alarm and constant appeals, Marty refused to do anything about the situation, leading to a 9-month delay before I could start work. After 7 months of inaction, I reported my concerns to Bethesda. Bethesda and I negotiated.
So stressed.
Yes, it sounds like I cannot imagine being in this situation. Bethesda and I negotiated the Doom Eternal OST directly without Marty's involvement. I received the contract on March 18th, 2020, just 48 hours before Doom Eternal was released. The delay was announced a week earlier before I was under contract. The deadline was April 16th, 29 days later, and the contract stipulated id Software had complete creative control and would acquire access to all my source material. Marty withheld crucial details from me until 13 days before my deadline, such as potential legal troubles they faced for taking pre-orders before it was under contract, details about their internally produced OST, and an alternative edited from my in-game score, which they'd worked on for at least 6 months without my knowledge or involvement. I didn't approve the release, and the delays and the days leading up to April 16th, Marty cut me out of the process and decided to release their alternative version instead, reducing my direct contributions to filler. Both he and id Software's lead audio designer, Chad Mousholder, didn't allow me to hear the final album and didn't seek my approval. They weren't contractually required to do so. The OST release, their poor quality release, immediately drew criticism and worried Marty personally, asked me for assistance. In addition, in addressing the situation, I made myself entirely available to Marty and committed to satisfying disappointed consumers with a better OST. Marty made it clear he wanted me involved, saying he wanted a positive outcome, had no ill intentions, and wanted to resolve the issue professionally. He offered to draft a joint statement addressing the situation and announcing the plans to move forward. He requested I hold off on making further public comments until we could address the public together. Marty told me to expect the draft within hours, but it never arrived. And then after that, that is when Marty Stratton went to Reddit with his open letter basically saying this is all Marty Stratton's fault. He botched the OST. And boy, that just sounds like a real nightmare. So you were reading through some of this. Did anything stick out to you as like, whoa?
His company offered me a 6-figure sum to shut up about it.
Yeah. And
I mean,
didn't
just
take
even,
it because obviously he's doing this.
Even from the beginning, you're kind of like reading through, and it just seems like, first of all, like production fuck ups. Like, there's a thing where it's like, oh, there's meant to be a 2-week all hands thing that turned into a 6-week thing. But then it's him, as in Mick Gordon, proposing solutions, being shot down, being ignored, then finding out that he has to, like, that the soundtrack is going up for pre-order at E3, so he finds out the same way that the rest of the world did.
Mm-hmm.
Him being asked to make a soundtrack without knowing what he's meant to be scoring boggles my mind. That is like, oh my god, it's like the gif of whatchamacallit, Gromit putting the train track down when he's on the little thing, and it's like, I mean, the whole project sounds like it was a complete mess from start to finish. Like, this is, you've got to wonder if this is, he's kept it very civil, I think, throughout the whole post. Obviously, I haven't had a chance to read through everything
yet.
And
he asks people to not, send abuse or hate to Marty Stratton or people at id Software. Yeah.
He's deliberately using phrases like management,
right,
company. Like, he's not, like, he also, like, if you go through the emails, like, he's blanked out people's names because he definitely doesn't want this to happen. I wonder what's happened behind the scenes, because this is now 2 years on.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what is the latest that has prompted him to write up this essay?
Right. Yes. This it's like a pamphlet. It is massive. And is this Microsoft's problem now? I mean, yeah, probably a little bit, yeah. Right? Yeah, and it puts a little bit of pressure on before that. All that's because that stuff's already gone through. So yes, this is Microsoft's problem. I hope that there's something to happen, because if you're in that situation and you are a contract worker who does contract music for people, having someone come out and throw you under the bus like this can hurt your career, and that seems like what he wanted to address here more than anything else, Mick Gordon. And he has also faced that abuse, harassment, and threats that he doesn't want others to go through. So we'll see what happens. But it just sounds like a real. Here's what it is. Why is Marty Stratton his point of contact? Marty Stratton's like overseeing this entire game. There should just be a music supervisor that is doing all this stuff, not just the sound person that he was also working with. Should be a music producer, supervisor for a game as big as Doom Eternal that that Mick Gordon could work with, and that person can focus on that stuff instead of the person overseeing all the aspects of the game. That's wild. That just is not how that should work on such a massive project.
No, but it's also, it's like, it's very, very strange, because the Reddit post from Marty was very weird, because that is not something you would expect to see from a company that's as tight-lipped as Bethesda usually. Well, tight-lipped when they're not leaking stuff. But you know what I mean? It feels like a very weird thing to have a member of staff take to Reddit of all places just to kind of clear stuff up. Like, I don't understand that. That seems like it would have been. It's been a mess. It's another shit-slinging match, and like, regardless of who's in the right or who's in the wrong, this is kind of, you are at the end of the day weaponizing your audience one way or the other. And it's just very weird to watch unfold. Great tea, though. Fantastic tea.
Yes.
But
if you are in the position of Marty Stratton, your number one goal should be avoiding this situation exactly.
You don't want to draw attention to this.
Yeah,
at
you
all.
don't want to be
let alone on Reddit.
Right. You don't want to be in a Reddit post where and then write a Reddit post where man, I don't know if I want to deal with this, because then people will think I was shitty for writing that Reddit post. It's like, why did you write it in the first place then? That you should have avoided that.
If I put anything on the internet that could be used in a court case with the phrase Exhibit A, I don't want to put that out there, except for some of my tweets would be quite funny.
Right, of course, yes. And this tab that I have that just says evidence.jpg.
Evidence. You know what I mean? And so it's just so weird. How did they not think that would bite them in the ass? Both of them.
Yep, absolutely.
Great tea.
Great and delicious tea. All right, that does it for the news. I have a poll from yesterday. Let's see if I hit the right button. There we go. This is, do you think the next Battlefield game will be free to play? 51.9% say yes, 48.1% say no. Battlefield 2042 has fewer concurrent players than 1 and 5 at the moment. Battlefield 1 and 5 both have more concurrence than that game. Obviously, 2042 has a myriad of issues, but I got to imagine that it was weird to launch a $70 multiplayer only game in 2021 or whatever that was. The next time we get a Battlefield, a couple years from now, can it still be $70 even if it does have a campaign? At least for the multiplayer side of things.
So part of me is like, it can be, because you have other costs that you're incurring. You have server costs, etc. Live service game. But I don't know, has Battlefield lost enough goodwill at this point? Because people did not really particularly enjoy the last one, and it was not a good release.
But it's like, it's in a world where, it does have goodwill. Call of Duty Warzone and Fortnite and all these massive, ongoing, successful, beloved shooters that are all free to play. And even if you're the good Battlefield, I mean, your audience is going to be dwindling. Like, yeah, you can maybe make the Battlefield audience happy and they'll show up and pay if it is perfect. If it comes out and it's exactly what they want. The chances of striking that these days feels slimmer and slimmer. And if, even if you do, that is always going to be a smaller audience than what you could get if you were one of these free to play service games. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I know some people will just want it to be premium price forever because that's what they're used to. I just don't know if the game makes sense in that world anymore. It's 48.1% say no, and I don't know if that's like they don't want it to be, or if they don't, or they don't expect EA to make that move. I think there will probably be a free to play component of some sort for the next Battlefield. Almost certainly, I think at this point.
100%.
It doesn't mean the whole thing will be, or most of it will be, but there will be some free to play mode going forward. Yeah. Let's ask the new poll. Let's see here. I have it written down here. Are you going to check out Halo Infinite again now that it has Forge and campaign co-op? I think I probably will find some time, mostly because my Discord is very into what was into Halo Infinite, and we've been missing it, so it's a chance to go back into it. Yeah, I could beat Bowser for you in a second, kiddo. Here, just hold it. Just 1 second, dude. Yeah, she's very good at it, and then she gets into the Bowser fight.
You are missing Indie World. You are going to beat Bowser.
Yes, I'm going to beat Bowser. Absolutely. Game Mess Mornings. Let's see. Let's hit that, and then yes or no. Yes, no, and let's hit that. All right. Hey, Lucy, what do you have going on this week? And also, thank you so much for spending time with me today. I really appreciate it.
What am I doing? Well, it's a long weekend. I've got a bunch of stuff going on. I've got podcasts going on tomorrow. I think that's it, honestly. It feels like I've worked a week and it's only Wednesday.
Yes, it's somehow short weeks always end up feeling a lot longer. There's the indie world happening right now, so we should wrap up. Giant Bomb's got let's see, we got what's happening today. I can't ever remember Wednesdays. It's
I don't think there's any arcade pit now. Jason's in chat.
Thank you, Jason.
Sorry.
Thank you so much. So no arcade pit, but we'll be back with that next week. I think we are doing Eternal Darkness though. I think we're also we're playing some Sonic Frontiers. So we'll be playing that. That'll probably be going up as a quick look. We'll figure that out. So look out for that and everything. And then yeah, we'll be back with more tomorrow. You're the best audience in gaming. Lucy, again, thank you so much for spending time with me today. Everyone, until next time, have a good one. Take care of yourself, and goodbye.